recording. And on that note, let's begin. So today, we're going to review the progress so far on the settlement and Tigerbeetle work streams and look to see what might be achieved, hopefully by the end of this PI. I think we'd all agree this is another important work stream, one that we've been waiting on for quite some time. Look forward to hear what the progress has been recently. Over to you, Jason.
Thank you, Paul. Yes, so there's a couple of things going on at the moment. The main ones is actually the performance testing on settlements. Let's just say they did not look awesome when we started this journey. I think it's at the start of this PI. One of my main focuses has been to get the performance really good in terms of just the standard running the next generation settlements with Tigerbeetle, as well as running it without Tigerbeetle. Now, obviously, running it with Tigerbeetle, you get better performance, but the baseline should still be high regardless.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very happy to say that things are actually looking very promising, and I'm busy setting up an AWS environment that I'm also testing against. The local tests that I ran a whole stack on my local machine, the results were promising enough that I've since then set up an AWS instance, which I'm now performing further tests on, so that we can get exact environment statistics, or environment specs rather, and then being able to say exactly what throughput you would be able to handle, as well as what your data storage requirements would need to be, etc., when running a Tigerbeetle instance of settlements versus not running one, all of those type of things. So it's really,
Jason, can I ask you, can I just break in and ask you which elements, the performance of which element of the settlement process are you talking about? Allocation to batches, closing, which aspect?
Exactly that. So so let me take a step back. So the initial tests were run doing only transfers, and as part of a transfer creation in settlements, they need to be allocated to batches. So the initial test was focused on that, because that's the area which has the most throughput, or where we expect the most activity or bottlenecks. So yeah, it's going to be better for me on Thursday to walk everyone through how exactly that was achieved, but I started out with focusing on the transfers. And then beyond that, you can't just test the transfers. You need to be able to make sure that if you're retrieving data while you're doing transfers, how does it impact the system? When you're creating matrices as you're doing transfers. So before you actually test your environment, there's two things that was very important. You need to be able to reproduce a complete test scenario to see if you want to change any of your hardware specifications, what the impact would be, as well as being able to replay a complete setup and being able to spawn a setup as quickly as possible. So a big part of what the work that's been done is to set up a profile. So you set up a profile to say what you want to test and how much of it would you like to test, how frequently. And in that way, you're able to very closely mimic what a product, or what your on-premise or cloud-like instance would need to be catering for. So you can replicate the throughput exactly what you would need running a Mojaloop next generation settlement instance. And then you're able to, in a lab, test that to see if where's the thresholds and what processing you would be able to be capable of. So a large portion of it was setting all of that up and starting with the transfers, and then making sure that the transfers perform optimally. And that was quite an exercise. And then the further on from that is being able to run other processes that would impact the transfers. Like, for example, if you close a batch or you dispute a batch while transfers, thousands of transfers are happening at the same time, how does it impact batch creation? And when you're closing a batch, or doing batches much more frequent instead of doing, you know, once a day. You would like to do one every minute or even more frequent than that. You're able to see how or mimic that type of scenario, and you'll be able to test to see how the system behaves. And yeah, so that's what I mean, a very big focus of what I would also like to demo at the PI is giving actual figures and going through running a Mojaloop instance with and without Tigerbeetle, and what type of settlement performance one can expect. But yes, the figures that I've been able to get to is quite high. So I'm sure everyone will be pleased with the outcome. But I wanna run the environment in a much more, because I've been running it on my local machine only and running it in a more like a development environment. And that's what I've been changing, is moving that to an actual AWS instance where you're not running the tools to measure the performance at the same time as having like a clean slate environment that doesn't have other processes running at the same time. So yes, I've been spending, before I went on leave, I spent time like doing that, and then since I've been back, which is today, I've been continuing with setting up the environment. But also another big point is that we need to be able to integrate the current Mojaloop stack, the vNow, also in settlements. So that's also a topic that's going to be for our next settlement workshop, because I've gotten the green light to still be involved with Mojaloop, so that's a great thing.
Oh, that's good news. Yeah.
Yeah, so I would like to see it all, be the vNow and the vNext working very nicely with the settlements. But it's quite a lot of work to get to where we are today. But the good news is yes, even though settlement is officially, let's say, beta, because it's being reviewed under the same stack as vNext, I'm hoping that it will be at a point where you can actually run it in production comfortably, because some of the Tigerbeetle features that we've been waiting for have also become available. And what the great thing is that we will not be losing any functionality whether you're using Tigerbeetle or not Tigerbeetle, and you will just be getting, hopefully much better performance. Well, not hopefully, I'm still to record all of the differences, but it's definitely pleasing. Michael, I see you've got your hand up.
Oh, thank you.
Hi there.
Hi. Sorry, I'm just going to say, I can't help feeling, Jason, you're being a little coy here. You keep talking about performance results, but you never actually quote one.
Yes, well, I don't want to give them too soon, because I was going to do it earlier, but the performance that wasn't even close to what I wanted it to be. And throughout the exercise, because to be frank, we've never really done any performance testing on at least the settlements portion of things. I know that other portions of the system has gone through a level of performance testing, but the way in which I wanted to do the performance testing was slightly different. I didn't just simply want to create a script that would run in an infinite loop to go and post, a transfer or whatever the case might be. I wanted to be able to set up these profiles that you can, number one, replicate real production, like figures, and then also be able to replay those to see what the different outcomes would be. And also the measuring of that, I didn't want to just have Grafana statistics. I would rather have proper reports that would show you throughput, that would show you latency, all those type of things that would measure much more than just running a script and looking at, oh, look, we just thrashed it with running an infinite loop against this instance, and this is what it's doing. So what I wanted to do is something much more like usable for anyone implementing the next generation settlements. But yes, I mean, I want to run some more tests, but they're looking pretty good, I think. I'm pretty happy with, given my very constrained environment. I'm running a MacBook with literally the whole dev environment with running in debug mode, and lots of other things running, and in a single stack, not even having the databases split up and running in a dedicated manner, I was able to easily run 120 concurrent threads hitting the system, not a single error, and getting more than 20,000 TPS. And this is, I would want it to be much higher than that, but still that is quite I think a decent number given, all of the constraints of the environment. But I wanted to run, yeah, yes.
I was going to say, presumably, this is constrained by the overall speed at which the Mojaloop system can complete the processing of transfers. I.e., there can't be more going on than the number of transfers that the Mojaloop scheme can execute. And our current target for that, as I understand it, is 1,000 TPS.
So right now, so when I run the tests against the settlement, I'm able to test only settlements. So it doesn't
Yes,
create.
but Jason, the point is that if a Mojaloop system is running at 1,000 TPS, the settlement subsystem is not going to constrain it to run at lower than that.
No, of course not. Yeah. So with my local environment, it's setting already at 20,000 TPS. So
yeah,
and more than that even. And we started out when I started this process, it was setting at about 300, and I was very shocked. but running the tests made me, obviously being able to identify all of the bottlenecks that existed. So it was like a trial and error, seeing, oh, okay, well, this was a bit silly. We need to enhance that, and it was like just silly development errors where concurrency was not being taken care of properly. But now we're sitting at well above the 20,000 mark on like a local environment. So we're definitely in a zone of, at least meeting 1,000 TPS on settlements.
Well, so I think it would be fair to say that we've got a reasonable amount of headroom.
Yes, absolutely. I would say that's a fair statement.
Yes, I mean, under the vNow architecture, James, you were saying the other day that we think we have reached 1,000 TPS or thereabouts. So yes, it's good to hear that the settlement subsystem won't be a constraint on that. Okay, so in terms of progress overall, settlements, the settlements engine is currently integrated into vNext, and working in that context.
Well, yes and no, because part of what I was doing is to be able to deploy it in what I like to call a bare bone version, because if you're running vNow, you're probably not gonna have all of the BCs that you want to spawn up, right? So you actually just want settlements and settlements on its own. So I've spent time on also being able to configure profiles to make sure that when you're running in a vNow and you don't care about the accounts and balances BC, you don't care about all of the other things, you just want to run settlements and only settlements, you're able to run only settlements. So it's flexible in that manner. Yes, it's obviously compatible with vNext, and by default it'll run in the vNext manner. But then the alternative is that you just configure the environment variables for it to not make use of vNext. But and when I say that, I mean you will not be using like the security context and the keys from vNext. It'll simply be using the bare bones. So you won't be making use of all of those vNext specific things. It completely runs without it. Now that can definitely be enhanced to the level where, if you, like for instance, auditing, you don't want to use the vNext auditing, but you would like to, when you're running vNow, you want to run just plain auditing and sending of audit messages or Kafka audit messages to vNow. That can definitely still be defined, but so I wouldn't say it's 100% ready to just plug into vNow. And obviously we need to complete the vNow integration to be able to consume, well, at the time of settlement, going and updating those liquidity accounts to reflect that it's been settled. So there is still the integration work for VNow for those for being able to be compatible with the next generation settlement. And I think that'll be a good opportunity. That exercise will be a good opportunity to cover the things like the auditing events and the logging to be able to run it, vice versa mode. Even when I was conducting the performance test that I've been doing, I would create, making sure that things like adapters that are not necessarily directly impacted by settlement, like auditing, making sure that, okay, I don't necessarily care so much about auditing, so that is being excluded. But nothing stops you from just enabling those. It's all configuration work, and that's the type of test that I've been running, is to say, well, what does it look like running in this type of environment with Tigerbeetle and not this and not that? And now you run it using MongoDB because now your transfers are going to go into Mongo. How does that look? So it's it's been an exercise of seeing what is like the real performance differences between the various environments. But yes, it's not been. I mean, I've had really strange differences where if I would, because I don't frequently restart my laptop, but if I then do, all of a sudden the statistics look astronomical, and then it's like, yeah, if I run tests again, and that's why I just decided, you know what, I need to a complete stable, static, very specific environment to run these tests against, because they just can vary easily by like 5 to 10,000 just in a single run. So it's like, there's just too many impacting factors. Anyway, yeah.
Okay, so in terms of actual functionality, how complete would you regard the settlement engine now?
Well, I would, in terms of,
Let me tell you what I'm thinking about. When I'm looking at settlement, because obviously we've been looking at the VNext beta in some depth the last few weeks, and looking at the settlement engine that it is integrated with. And there are aspects of that which are not complete, such as the ability to create different settlement models and define the operation of different settlement models. Now, is that simply because it's not integrated with the latest version of settlement, or is that a limitation of the current implementation of settlement?
no. So that is purely a bug that must be on the admin API, and it's one of the things that's under my radar.
Yeah.
As soon as I'm done with the work. So, as far as I'm concerned, it's complete in the sense that it needs to take care of, and I still need to do the documentation for the admin API and the next generation settlement endpoints. But things that we've gone through in previous sessions and bugs that I noticed, I've taken note of, and those are not areas of settlement specifically. We need to look at what could be wrong in the admin API or causing a bug to do this, because the test cases that is in settlement covers the domain area to a very high extent, and all of those calls, like creating a settlement model and all of those are there and covered. So it's definitely not that. And when I saw, we had a session a couple of weeks ago, and I saw that, and I went back and then I was like, no, it is working. So it must either be a type of version that's installed. And I actually, basically, as soon as I'm done with what I'm busy with, I'll look at those things to make sure everything's ticked off.
Okay, so there is that work to finalize within the VNext code base. And hopefully that will be finished relatively soon. And then separately, there's the work to integrate settlements into the VNow code base. Have you been able to make any progress on that? Jason?
I think you scared him off.
Jason, are you there? I think you just dropped. Oh, there you are, Jason. Yeah. Jason, can you hear me? Hello, Jason. Is it just me? Or some
Probably
other people?
load shedding, Paul. He might just need a moment or two to reconnect.
Sure.
Can you guys hear me? Hello?
Yeah. Yes, there you are.
Yep,
back.
now we can.
Yeah, yeah. Good. Thank you.
Okay, so yes, sorry, I missed that, Paul. Yes, my
Yeah.
Zoom just slowed down and then completely restarted.
Okay, fine. I was just saying the work for settlements for vNext is you're suggesting just a matter of fixing a few minor issues and then it'll all be complete. There is separately the need to integrate it within the vNow code base, and I was wondering if you'd managed to make any progress in that regard.
No, so I'll talk more about that on Thursday, but the goal here is I need to finish up the API, the open API specifications for the next generation settlement. And I would need to then plan it as part of that workshop. We need to plan when we want to do what by and who would be able to assist in doing what. But yeah, we haven't fleshed out the whole plan of how we're gonna approach it. So I'm hoping that
Okay.
we can get to that.
So hopefully we can have a more detailed planning session for that on Thursday for anyone who is
Yeah.
interested. I see you've scheduled 45 minutes for that on Thursday. Do you think that will be long enough to do that?
No, but I can, if it suits everybody, I can extend it to 2 hours because part of that would be to also look at what has been done in terms of the performance. So we can either delay the performance, but I would have liked to show some of that to everybody. But
Yeah. I think we should make that a longer session. And
Okay,
also,
yeah,
if anyone wants to join that session, perhaps you could drop us a line on the settlement Slack channel.
yes, of course.
Yeah, ML settlements V3 it's called. Oh no, it's closed channel. Okay, fine. Well, if anyone wants to come along, just message me and I'll make sure that you're added. Okay. Warren, I see that you've asked that, so I'll make sure that you're added to the invitation. Okay, fine. Jason, is there anything else that you'd like to present today?
No, I'm all good. I'm just be
Okay.
exciting for
Okay.
Thursday actually more than anything, yes, but that's it from my side.
Yeah, but if you could make it a longer session, I think we need to cover a lot of ground there.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Are there any questions from anyone? No? In that case, we'll leave it till Thursday afternoon. It's Thursday afternoon UTC, so it's 1500 UTC on Thursday. Hopefully as many people as is possible will be able to join them. So thank you. Okay, on that note, we'll close the meeting for today then. Thank you, Jason.
Right.
And
Thank you so
look
much.
forward to Thursday. Okay, bye now.
Thanks,
Okay.
Jason.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.